both the goddess and the demon lord stare at you expectantly. I have to say, as long as not something dramatic changes, I will keep my powers, cause it feels so wrong to say that, but I agree with the demon lord. Those powers, we can use them for good. And if it means closing the wound, that's something Logan would do. And yeah, even if it means self-sacrifice in the end. But let's talk more. Nocticula, I have some questions for you.
If you have questions, ask
So
away.
many. Why did you try to hide the fact that closing the world wound would kill me? Didn't we ask that before?
Because if I'd told you the truth, you would have refused to do it. But you're not angry with me, are you? After all, everything has worked out perfectly fine. We found another key. So now you can live and enjoy your life. Provided that you catch Aurilu, of course.
It's just so odd that Aurilu just revealed that, making herself a target. Now that we've decided to use Aurilu to close the world wound, do you still want me to keep the powers I acquired from her?
Of course I do. Firstly, you'll need those powers to catch Aurilu and bring her to Threshold. Surely you don't think she'll willingly fall into your hands, and the demonic hordes will politely make way for you. And secondly, the powers Aurilu gave you protect you from dying before your time. None of us want the wound to kill you prematurely.
Good point. I almost forgot that.
You are extremely useful to me alive. After all, if you let Aurilu slip through your fingers, we can always go back to the original plan for closing the wound.
You know, Aurilu deliberately led us to the idea that she was the key too. Why, I wonder?
Apparently, she understood that her secret was about to be revealed anyway, so she
think so.
decided to leave in style. What human female over 100 years old wouldn't feel flattered at being the center of attention? Although she could have other reasons. She obviously wanted us to understand everything and immediately rush off in pursuit of her. She's probably been preparing for a war of all against all for a long time. And now she wants to wage it on her own terms.
I don't think that's it.
treachery and traps wherever you go.
There has to be something more. But where could Aurilu have fled to?
No, let's think. She's hidden in the abyss before. She won't dare to return there now. Not only to my realm, but to any other either. Even if Baphomet and Deskari both take it upon themselves to guard Aurilu personally, that won't stop me from sneaking in, slitting her throat, and leaving undetected. And she knows that. If I were her, I would hide in a place where the powers of her enemies were uncertain, and her own power was close to unlimited. I say you should look for her here, in the World Wound.
How convenient. Do you really plan to use me to become a goddess yourself?
That is nothing but the wild speculation of a little girl who gained celestial power through no merit of her own and now fears that others may do the same, forcing her to share her place in the spotlight. Do I want to become a goddess? Of course I do. Who wouldn't? Can you help me with that? Sadly, no.
Would be too easy, I guess.
Of course, Aurilu used to blather on about how her brilliant invention could bake gods like pies. But between you and me, the cleverer the inventor, the larger their ego becomes. So far, she hasn't managed to create anything stronger than you. And no offense, but you're no match for any deity.
Working on that. Aren't you afraid to stand in the presence of a goddess?
Tut tut, how rude! I wouldn't say the girl is that hideous. I admit her face is far from perfect. Her body too, to be honest. But all in all, not bad. I've seen worse.
Your theatrics are too transparent to offend me, demon. At least, they can hardly offend me more than the very fact of your existence.
Is it bad that I like Nocticula more than Iomadae?
Very well. It's time for you to make your decision then.
I just want to see the questions I can ask Iomadae. Not sure if I'll ask all of them. Before I make my decision, I want to ask Iomadae some questions.
Ask, and you shall have your answers.
It's just like this insulting, teasing, chaotic style. Way more. You gained your own power from the Starstone. How is my power any different?
My ascension was not accomplished in one day, and even the test of the Starstone was only one of its stages. I did not merely gain power, I embraced a sacred duty. Your power, on the other hand, stems not from long hours of study, not from trials. It is not the natural talent you were born with and carefully honed throughout your life. It is the result of an evil soul's deranged experiment with the blood of dead abyssal lords.
I mean, she has a little point. On the other hand, that also sounds very arrogant. And I mean... You imprisoned entire hosts of angels inside the Wardstones. Why did you do that to them?
Every one of my angels volunteered for that mission.
No, that
They
I
all
believe.
knew what kind of watch they were going to keep. They knew that it would be a hard and exhausting battle, but that the lives of mortals throughout Golarion would depend on it. Alas, angels' minds can be as fragile as the minds of mortals. In less than 100 years, many wavered and wished to break the oath they had sworn. I do not blame them. I blame myself for allowing them to take on a burden that was too heavy for them.
What surprises me in general about the Wardstones is like, that was the best the good deities could muster? Did you send your herald to follow me to the Abyss, or did he go of his own free will?
He acted on his own noble impulse, and I did not stop him. I also did not try to dispel his misconception about you being my chosen one. I do not lie, but both celestial beings and mortals can be mistaken.
Sounds more like a white lie.
She doesn't lie, sure. She merely withholds some of the truth. For the noblest of reasons, of course.
And the funny thing is, there they meet. For different reasons probably, but yeah. Concealing the truth. Do you know what happened to your herald?
My herald, my loyal companion, was captured, and now demons are using him to attack Dresden. They're holding him in the Ivory Labyrinth, Baphomet's realm of the Abyss. It is a place I cannot go, not even to save my faithful friend. For doing so would start an interplanar war.
Oh boy.
Right now, as we speak, Baphomet's servants are torturing the hand of the Inheritor. Tormented and anguished, he reaches for you with his thoughts and his soul. I cannot tell if he sees you as a great unfulfilled hope or a last chance. But Baphomet knows well how to exploit such desperate yearning. He has turned my herald into a source of power to open temporary portals. They do not last long, but they lead from the dungeon where the hand of the Inheritor suffers, right to your doorstep. Baphomet does not need to lead his armies through the rifts. Now he can send them right here.
Oh boy. Sounds like a very good catch for him.
As long as my poor herald remains in the hands of that monster, this will not stop. I cannot say if it is still possible to save him, or if putting him out of his misery is the only way. I cannot openly ask you to intervene. But if you decide to do so, You will be helping both yourself and the one who chose the martyr's path when he followed you into the abyss.
A demon lord stands before you. Why don't you destroy her, right here now?
I could. But then every other demon lord would decide that he or she was next and stand against me. In response to that, the Imperial Lords would take up arms. Then Hell, Heaven, and Elysium would join the conflict. A war would break out, one which mortals could not hope to survive.
Damn it. Why did he really do everything possible to lead us to the idea that she was the key too?
The impulses that drive a soul as black as hers are beyond my comprehension. Perhaps she was startled by my arrival and decided not to bother keeping a secret that was bound to be revealed. Or perhaps she is up to some cunning scheme. Be on your guard. The architect of the world wound will surely try to bring you down. For if she truly is a key, then it must mean that she will die sooner or later due to the influence of her own horrible creation.
Also applies to her.
And that means that sacrificing you is her only chance of survival.
Why have you decided to descend to the world of the mortals at this particular moment?
As I have already said, I am here to open your eyes to Nocticula's lies and to prevent more calamities in the future. You are at a crossroads now.
Excuse me?
I will not force you to do anything, but you needed to learn the truth and have the chance to cleanse yourself.
Ever since I acquired these powers, everyone has believed me to be your chosen. Why didn't you do anything to dispel this misunderstanding?
At first, I did not know who you were, or where your powers originated. This was revealed to me only when my herald offered up his dying prayer from the depths of the abyss. And following his desperate plea, I sought to confirm my suspicions. Until that point, I had observed you without intervening. After all, your crusade was securing victories, the first Golarion had seen in many years. So even if it was not I who had sent you into battle, it felt unfair to undermine you.
In other words, our Imperial guest had no problem with your power, as long as she didn't know where it came from. She didn't even share her suspicions with her own herald. And after all that, someone dares to claim that demons are the most deceitful creatures?
You should not blame someone else if you base your accusations on vague suspicions rather than solid proof. You call my behavior deceitful. You, of all creatures, who kept the commander ignorant of the fate you had chosen for him? Indeed, the insolence of demons knows no bounds. It is time to make your decision then.
Oh, I want to ask my companions for advice. What do you think about all of this?
Perhaps your power came from the abyss, but your beautiful soul has cleansed it of all evil. Don't reject this power, for you have already proved that you are worthy of it.
Nice.
Being around you is so much fun. The whole world is ablaze. War is raging, but even those who are on the verge of dying smile when they see you. This power is good. Perhaps it was evil before, but you have made it good. Don't throw it away.
So far, two companions who see it like I do.
As a cave monster who's going to grow old and die in about 10 years' time, I can tell you this. There's no power in the world that's worth selling yourself out to the abyss for. Being the invincible companion of the magical commander was fun and all, but we don't need it. It doesn't really matter how much magic they've heaped on you. You're the commander because you have the heart and mind of a true commander. Screw your power. Don't betray yourself. That way, we'll win.
I think it's mainly not like a good against evil decision for the companions, but more like a lawful versus chaotic. Because I think those two are neutral. I think Ember's neutral good, and I think Rue's like chaotic good. And I mean Lan's lawful neutral.
I don't see any reason for deliberation.
Yeah.
Your power is chaotic and capricious, and it originates from a demonic source. I doubt you can even control it. Heed the words of the goddess. Reject it. And then we will hunt down Marilu Vorlesh and deliver the punishment she deserves.
Okay, 2 yes to no.
It's not my place to gainsay the will of my goddess, but the thing is, I can sense evil. And I don't sense it in your power at all. I just don't. Whatever those horned monsters had planned for you, you definitely aren't playing by their rules.
Nice.
You gave hope to the Crusaders in their darkest hour, even when all seemed lost and only despair and death lay ahead. With these powers, you have saved countless lives, and you will save more. Of course you must keep them.
My brother is wise. Listen to his advice.
Oh, he still sounds so broken.
Someone pinch me. We are standing in the presence of the most pompous goddess in the world, debating whether we should listen to her or send her packing along with her invaluable opinions. I shall remember this moment for the rest of my life. Even as I stand in Pharasma's court, I shall tell this story to anyone who will listen.
It's not really an answer to the question, though, is it?
As for your question, by all means, tell her to go to the Abyss. The power is yours, and yours alone.
Everything else would have surprised me.
I hate it when they corner you and demand answers out of you. But fine, I'll tell you what I think. With you, I've always had my freedom, Chief, so I'll speak freely. Be who you are, and don't count on gifts from nobody. You gave me the same advice back in Alishanira, remember?
True.
And I've never regretted following it. Maybe you won't have the powers you had before, but do you really need somebody's permission to do what you want to do? That's what it's all about.
Okay, maybe it's a bit hypocritical to keep powers now. On the other hand, in his case, it was a demon who also wanted to possess him, right?
Experience tells me that it's wiser to trust yourself and your own abilities. You can't trust what clients tell you. One day you're a hero, the next you're working for the enemy. Sorry, but it all looks like a setup to me. First they tell you to lay down your weapons, and then, once you're unarmed, they finish you off in some back alley.
Your powers are interesting from a theoretical point of view. You are an experiment started by Arilu Vorlesh, and terminating it before it is complete would be foolish, not to mention impolite.
Listen to the goddess, War Chief. And if you won't listen to her, then listen to me. You don't need these thrice cursed powers. You're the strongest of the strong, and the bravest of the brave, even without the gifts of a mad sorceress.
I am waiting for your answer. I hope you will choose wisely.
Quite right. Make your choice, and make it the right one.
Decisions. So, once again, we can choose between 3 options. And we unlock the Golden Dragon, as I expected. Also sounds pretty cool. And if we take that one, our skin tone actually changes, and I think our eyes are kind of lizard dragon-like. Yeah, we can't use Angel, Demon, Trickster anymore. As I told you, others would be Ian. We knocked out pretty early. Lich is the second one. There's also the Devil one I told you about. And the 4th one is the Swarm one, the really evil one if you pursue Xantia Bongs, I think was his name, research some more. So, and we're going, as I said, we're going to stay Zata, using the powers for good, and yeah, trying to find out more about what it really wants to do with the whole thing. What to take? I don't know. Yeah, let's take advantage on all saves. Supersonic speed, zippy magic. Ooh. Nice. Zippy magic sounds fun. SDJ, deep slumber. Confusion. Confusion. Song of Discord. Great heroism. We know that already. And euphoric tranquility and serenity. Looking good, I would say. The choice is made. All you have to do is announce it to everyone. And of course, with the mod we can see all of the options now. I'd guess that you can just choose the option you actually chose. Oh, and there's none for the legend, so I think that's a completely different branch. Zata. Perhaps I could have rejected this power, but how can I abandon my people and my dragon?
Your pride will destroy you.
Oh, wow.
And perhaps all of Golarion with you. But I shall not intervene now, so as to avoid causing even more suffering to this world. Farewell.
Wow.
Another commander would have turned his army into a faceless war machine, but not you. Thanks to you, we gain one victory after another without losing touch with our humanity.
It would have been so foolish for you to reject your powers. So many victories, so many achievements lie ahead for you. Well, go now. Capture Arilu, and prove which of you is making the best use of her invention. I'll be watching you.
The Demon Lord blows you a kiss and disappears. Ah, I feel dirty. I think we did the right thing. I hope. Load faster. Finally life back in the city. Way less corpses all around. Our city, back to its glory. Yeah, I love the whole sequence. Oh, nice. And more Zata areas. Touched nature, wild nature stuff. Big win.